Interview horror. Here are some more interview horror stories. Develop your own interview technique by learning from other people's mistakes. Desperate for love. 26-year-old Janie Simmons revealed more than was necessary during her interview.
I was applying for a job in the marketing department of a top international publishing house. I'm usually a bit of a nervous person, but the thought of an interview really put me on edge. During the interview, I was asked all the standard questions. What are you looking for? What don't you like in a job? What role do you see your boss playing? I was fine with most of the questions, but my answer to the third question really sealed my fate. Without thinking, I said, I need my boss to be my best friend. I'm so lonely. I just moved here a few months ago and I haven't made any friends. I need a friend. Unfortunately, the interviewer's response wasn't very friendly. Aftershock. Sometimes the worst comes out after the interview's over, as 28-year-old Arnold found out.
A few days after an interview with a graphic design company, I received a telephone call. Well, you should be aware that you were not one of our top choices, the boss said. All the top candidates refused our offer to work with us. You're the only one left, so if you want the job, we'd be happy for you to take it. Not surprisingly, I politely declined. Watch out. 28-year-old Marcia Jones had 3 terrible interviews in a row.
I think I'm probably the unluckiest person in the world when it comes to interviews. During one interview with the vice president, the guy said, "Honey, you'll never get a job because you don't show enough skin." In another interview with an entertainment company, the male interviewer came into the room, closed the door, turned off the light, put his foot on the desk and asked, "So baby, where do you live?" In a further interview for a job as a hotel receptionist, the interviewer proceeded to inform me that most women enter the hospitality industry because of the glamour. He then went on to tell me that other women found him really attractive. Now, I bet he wouldn't have made that comment if I'd been a man, or would he? Weirdo. James Hargreaves' interview was interrupted by some very unusual phone calls.
I was in this interview for a sales marketing job when the phone suddenly went. The guy interviewing me cut me off in mid-sentence, picked up the receiver and answered the call. "Yes, I know he's French," he said, then hung up. About 10 minutes later, he got another call. This one was even stranger. He seemed to be listening for a while, then he suddenly said, "Is it his car?" And then he hung up again. I couldn't work out if he was being serious or not, or whether he was trying to make me nervous. Anyway, the last call was definitely the strangest of them all. It was clearly from his wife or partner. After saying, "Hi, honey," he said 3 cryptic things. "Is he lucid? Do you need me to come home tonight? And call me when you know more." Then he hung up and looked at me and said, "So where did you go to school? I swear, I'd love to know what the hell that guy had been talking about. Oh, and by the way, I didn't take the job."
Bored. John Savage had to sit through a long exam when he applied for a job to be a security guard.
I had to undergo a ludicrous 500-question psychological examination when I applied to be a security guard during college. Among the 500 questions, there were no less than 35 questions asking me in slightly varied ways whether or not I had ever thought of killing myself. By the time I got to the 17th question, I was tempted to write something like, "No, but the idea is growing on me every time you ask."